So we'll start getting situated here, coming to a comfortable seat for a moment. And take a moment to tune in and take our before picture. And take a moment here to really allow for whatever is here. Earlier today, I was so frustrated. Had some technology issues. An order was wrong, and it just seemed like everything was sideways. And I was frustrated. And I just decided to express that. Just say, I'm frustrated. And giving it a voice was so powerful, felt so good, and really allowed me to take stock, find some solutions, and find a little bit of release. It reminded me how important it is to feel, to allow for whatever feelings. We often try to shove it down or try to will it to be different when it doesn't meet our expectations. And how helpful it can be to just allow. On that note, we'll come down to our back. So we'll turn around and come all the way down onto the back. We'll begin to loosen up a little bit. Keep the knees lifted, but allow the rest of the body to just sink down into the mat for a moment. Maybe even sigh it out. And then we'll begin to rock forward and backward, just really gently, really loose, keeping the glutes loose, the belly loose. Just rocking the tailbone forward and backward, not trying to lift or press, just kind of shake it loose, forward and backward, letting the head go along with it. And we might even continue to sigh it out as we feel a loosening, feel maybe a little bit of that moment. Coming into some fluidity. And we'll keep it going for another breath. And then slowly we'll come back to stillness. And then we'll start to get into a little pelvic tilt and tuck with intention. So on the inhale, we'll lift the belly, draw it towards the knees, letting our low back arch. And then exhale, we'll press the low back down into the mat, pressing the navel to the spine. Inhale, lift the low back, and exhale, pressing it down. And keep doing that with your breath, like a wave. Inhale, lifting, and exhale, pressing it down. On your next inhale, we'll lift the belly again, arch through the back. Let the wave of the breath come up, and then exhale, our wave of breath comes back down. And then come back to neutral. And we'll take a breath. And then we'll bring the soles of the feet together, drop the knees out wide into our reclined butterfly pose. And we'll take a breath here to really let it loosen, release, and allow. we'll start to move the tailbone and the knees with the breath. So on the inhale, we'll draw the knees together, arch through the back. And then exhale, let the knees drop, press the low back down. Inhale, knees together, lift the low back, relaxing through the hands and the shoulders. Exhale, press the low back down, drop the knees. And then we'll come into a little bit quicker, more energetic. Inhale, lift. Exhale, press down. Inhale, lift. Exhale, down. Inhale, lift. Exhale, down. Inhale, lift. Exhale, down. And a little bit faster if you'd like. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. In, X. In, out, in, out. And slowly we'll start to slow it back down. And then on your next inhale, we'll bring the knees up and then just let the low back go. And we'll come back to stillness and notice. Notice how that feels. Notice if anything shifted or changed. And then gently roll onto one side. Press yourself up to seated. And we'll come all the way down onto the belly. And we'll keep the hands in line with the rib cage here. As we inhale, lift up into a little baby cobra. And to exhale, press up to all fours and then sit to the heels into child's pose. We'll take a breath here. And then we'll take that into a little flow. So inhale, we'll slide forward, coming onto the belly, and lift up into cobra. And exhale, we'll press up and back, child's pose. One more time, inhale, sliding forward, lifting up into cobra, and then exhale, press back down into child. I'll take another breath here. Let it settle. And pause. Relaxing through the hands and the shoulders and the low back. And then inhale, press up onto all fours. Into our tabletop position. We'll situate the shoulders over wrists and hips over knees. We'll start to get into a little cat and cow flow. Thinking along that wave metaphor, we'll inhale, drop the navel, look forward, drawing the shoulder blades together. And exhale, tucking the tailbone, rounding through. Like a wave, we inhale, drop the belly, shoulder blades slide together, and exhale, round through. One more wave, inhale, dropping the belly, looking slightly forward, exhale, rounding down, tucking the chin. And then we'll come back to our tabletop position, widening through those shoulder blades, pressing the hands like we're going to pull them apart and see if we can find that extra space in between the shoulder blades. Then inhale and lift up through the right arm and look up towards the right. And then exhale, we'll draw it down under, threading the needle under the left hand, right ear to the mat, right shoulder down. And from here, choose your adventure style. If this feels really good and you'd like to stay here and settle in to this opening, you can stay here or you can bring it with your breath. Inhale, lifting up, and exhale, dialing under. Along with your breath, your choice here with this pose. And then wherever you are, top position. Pause here and notice how each side feels. And then we'll do the same on the other side. Hugging in a little through the low abs. As we lift up through the left hand and look up, and then dial it down up under the right wrist. Settle in here, feeling that opening between the shoulder blades, in through the torso. Nice twist. Or you can begin to flow again. Inhale, lifting, and exhale, lowering. Determine what feels best to you. Where are you getting the most lengthening, opening, and space? And as you're ready, we'll come back to our tabletop, back to all fours. Take a breath here and shift the hips a little side to side. Maybe you've been looking over your shoulder, taking any movements here that feel particularly restorative. And then as you're ready, we'll tuck the toes and lift the hips up high and back and gently slide into our first down dog of our practice. Taking a breath here, we'll pedal out gently through the feet, bending one knee and then the other, pressing into all 10 knuckles as we drop the chest down towards the knees and lift up high through the sit bones. And we'll come to stillness in our down dog for a moment. And then slowly we'll walk the feet up to meet the hands. Coming into our forward fold. Take a few breaths here. Maybe sway and move or rotate through the wrists. Keeping the knees bent as generously as you'd like. We're beginning to straighten. Maybe grabbing opposite elbows. And then on an inhale, we'll halfway lift, gliding the hands up the thighs, hugging in the elbows, and lengthening through the back. We'll hug up really good through the abs and feel as we tuck the elbows in, we kind of draw the shoulder blades together and find lengthening through the back of the neck. And then on our inhale, we'll sweep the arms up to the ears, reach them out, palms facing towards each other, and then shifting the shoulders back away from the ears. We're really using the core here to help hold us up and flat, and dialing the inner thighs towards each other. And then exhale, we'll drop back down into our forward fold. Take a breath. Pause, notice. Feel the widening of the low back with every inhale. And then we'll plant the palms and take one foot back and the other foot back, and then lift the hips up high and back again. Back to our downward facing dog. And again, we'll rotate those inner thighs towards each other and the shoulders out away from each other. And notice how much space that helps create for the shoulders, for the low back. Pressing into all 10 knuckles and clawing through the fingertips. And then we'll bend one knee and really twist over to look up under the opposite armpit. And then bending through the other knee and twisting a little through the torso to look up under the opposite armpit. And really beginning to twist through the torso and feel the hips shift and the shoulders shift as we continue to try to press into both hands evenly. And then we'll come back to our down dog. Sink the chest down a little bit more and lift up through the sit bones, hugging up through the low abs. And then we'll walk the feet back up to meet the hands. And hang for a moment. Our luscious forward fold. Take one more breath. Then on an inhale, we'll sweep up all the way up, reaching the hands up high, interlace the fingers, and then flip the palms. The palms are up towards the sky. We'll take the feet out a little bit wider, a little bit more than hip width apart here. And then on our inhale, we'll lift up a little bit higher through the hands and the crown of the head. And then exhale, we'll tip over towards the right. Pressing that right heel and the left heel down. Stretching into the side body, reaching up with the hands, letting the shoulders drop down away from the ears. Inhale, lift back up to center. Feel the low back lengthening, and then exhale, we'll drop it over towards the left. Pressing down into that right heel, feeling the stretch all along the right side, letting the shoulders come down away from the ears, tucking the chin slightly. And then inhale, we lift back up, lifting through the crown of the head like there's a silver thread running through the core of your body. And then exhale, we'll float the hands back down. And from here, you might want to shake out your hands a little. And then we'll get into a little twisting. A little twist to the right and the left. And let the hands flap along with you, creating some energy, some flow. Keeping the chin parallel to the floor. Just letting the hands slap behind you. And if you'd like, you can test out, experiment with matching the breath to the movement. Inhale on one side, exhale on the other. Almost like a bellows, like a nice forceful inhale and forceful exhale. If you start to get a little dizzy, slow it down or bring your breath back. Bring your breath back to natural breathing. And then we'll slowly begin to slow down our twisting. And come back to center. And notice how you feel. Notice the energy you've created, any warmth, heat, tingling, vibration.